This proves the flood. Every way possible we know for certain, for absolutely certain, there was never a global flood. Didn't happen. There was a local flood. I told you where and when. I'm sorry? Don't tell that.
She's seen that scientific.
And some people wearing tinfoil helmets, they say aliens told them different. It doesn't matter what some people say. It doesn't matter what some people say. It matters what you prove.
It's not the most important thing. What's important is the method that people use to gather the information that allows them to express the evidence that they've gathered. That's the important thing. No, because, yes, that's why you develop a consensus, but you develop a consensus using the best possible method to get you to the most likely position of what the evidence is showing. Yes, you can come with a bias, and that's why it's like bias is Moorish. So how do you develop a method?
It's like things to get the attraction. It's like heroinists watching you, mate.
That's the method. So the scientific method, per se, is the best method that we have of coming to objective truth. Because it cuts out biases. Because it has a set of principles such as testimony, classification, peer review, experimentation, observation.
And you have to have a prior requirement to have evidence up front before you can even state something. You've got to be able to show that what you're saying is correct before you say it. So you can't do it. I mean, religion is exactly the opposite from everything. It relies entirely on bias. It makes the assertion before it can come up with any evidence to back it up. It does confirmation bias so that you don't have any, so that you discredit any evidence that you see that goes against it. Just take whatever bits you think might align with your story until you find out that you don't, and then you reject that and grab something else. What? No science is exactly the opposite of faith. Exactly the opposite of faith. You can have science. You cannot ever state as fact that it's not ever. Now that's what religion does. But science does exactly the opposite. You have to show the argument is correct.
Keep looking to one way back.
No, she's not. She's not. I know Darwinian. No, there's nothing like that.
When I was in school, we were taught when I was in school, man evolved out of apes.
Yes, that's correct. And we've now proven that that is correct. Yes. Because it's now been proven correct. We evolved.
Mind if I swap places so I can consider? What? Mind if I swap places so I can consider?
Start science. We talk about science. We talk about biology.
We are actually, no, I got to correct you on that. No, I got to correct you because you're thinking about without realizing.
No, I'm going to figure this out.
Okay.
What I'm saying is that scientists understand the method, the scientific method, that shows that we evolved from a common ancestor.
But it's worse than that. We didn't just evolve from a common ancestor.
From every species on the planet.
We evolved directly from apes.
No,
and those apes evolved directly from monkeys. You know what's great about that? We are still apes right now.
I know, but what I'm saying is that I have a problem with this word.
Yes, you are. Are you a mammal? Are you a mammal? Are you a mammal? Are you a mammal? What's a mammal? Okay. Every classification of life has certain characteristics by which you identify whether it belongs in that classification. In the case of mammals,
She doesn't have
I'm not laughing, I'm explaining. Okay, I'm not laughing, I'm explaining. A mammal is a vertebrate life form, it's a tetrapod. Well, how do I simplify this really bad?
reproduce, yeah.
Okay?
They feed the young, they suckle the young.
So are you a mammal?
I'm not very
You're what?
human.
Right, so that means you have to be a mammal. And by extension, since humans are a subset of apes, if you're a human being, then you must necessarily be an ape.
The apes don't speak. They don't
I'm hearing an ape speak right now. And I've heard other apes speak too. Yes, you are, but you don't know what the classification is.
That's the problem. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter when you shake your head.
You wouldn't believe the classifications of apes.
I was created.
All right, I know, and I'm sorry. That's why you're so confused. You watch people lie to you about biology. I'm telling you the truth and you can prove it. I'm telling you things you can prove from the truth. Okay?
The truth is, Adam and Eve was created first.
No, that is not true. That is a lie. I'm showing you something you can. Yes, it is, and I can show you something. Yes, it is, and I'm telling you something you can prove to be true. I'm saying that we can prove that you are an ape, and you can prove that you are an ape. There's a way to do that. Yes, you are, and there's a way to do that. The classification.
Yes, a human being.
Okay, is a Volkswagen Beetle a car, or is it a Volkswagen
An
Beetle?
ape is not human. It's an animal.
No, a human is
A
an
human
ape.
is an animal.
Volkswagen Beetle is a creation.
Is it a car, or is it not
Is
a
it
car?
something
It's a
that we call
Volkswagen
a
Beetle.
car? Yes,
So is it a car?
What do we call it?
Is it a car? Is it a car? Yeah, is it a created car? Or is it a car? Come on, you answer the question. Is it a car?
It's a creation.
So? Okay, a duck. What do you say?
Like, we have the example.
Is a mallard a duck?
A bird. Okay. So it's probably moved from duck, from bird to duck. So duck is a subset of bird. Is lion a subset of cat? Iguana is a subset of lizard? Human is a subset of ape. For exactly the same reason.
They label.
No, it's not about what labels, it's about the criteria. How do you identify, how do you determine whether a duck is a bird?
Somebody labeled humans.
How do you determine? Yeah, it was Linnaeus. It was a creationist who determined that humans are apes. The way that he determined it, how did he determine that? Why? How did the creationist Linnaeus discover that humans are apes 300 years ago? How did he discover it?
How did he discover it? I presume he saw an ape and he saw a human being.
Well, he grew up
and
amongst apes, so that's a given.
He reasoned that there are lots of similarities.
Okay, but are they diagnostic?
I mean,
Okay, how do you identify whether a duck is similar to a bird or is a duck a bird? How do you make that distinction? How do you tell if a duck is in fact a bird or just similar to a bird?
what I believe is that birds have feathers, birds fly, birds lay eggs.
Okay, so how do you do that opens a whole other can of worms with dinosaurs that have feathers. What do you do with them?
What about them?
Well, if dinosaurs have feathers, does that make them birds?
I believe that some dinosaurs were birds.
Okay, I'll grant you that. Some dinosaurs were birds. That's a completely fair statement.
What were they called?
So not all birds are ducks. Not all birds are ducks, but all ducks are birds. You got that? So you have diagnostic characteristics to decide whether a bird is a duck. No, sorry, whether a duck is a bird, whether it's in that subset. Same thing for humanity. The definition of an animal, for example, is a multicellular opisthecon, which is not important right now. I'll give you opisthecon. Opisthecon is something that has a single posterior flagellum in its gamete cells. Sperm. Cell, tail comes off the back. If you come from a cell that has a posterior foot, you are an opisthecon. If you're multicellular and of those type of cells, and you have an internal digestive tract, animal. That's what an animal is.
Some animals don't have an internal digestion.
No, every animal has one.
What are those that have their stomachs on the outside?
They have stomachs on the outside. They don't even have stomachs on the outside.
The stomach is internal digestion. Even if it's on the outside of the body, it's a stomach that is
There's a
internal.
microbe that has a seed that some creationists want to point to, but it's still an internal digestive tract. There's no exception to this definition. No, this isn't a mollusk.
No, it's a bit level.
It doesn't matter. There is not an animal. There's neither a single-celled animal Nor is there an animal that has no digestive tract. They all do. That's the definition that covers everything.
They may be different.
They can have different types, but they still have to fit that rule. Every animal fits that rule. Now within that, you've got several subcategories. And I'm going to skip a whole bunch to get to where we get to, like, those that give birth in an amniote. Amniotic fluid.
Okay,
Whether it's live birth or whether it's eggs, it's still an amniotic fluid. They call those amniotes, which you say that you're an amniote. Okay, so you have a criteria. It's not a matter, it's not an agreement that people have. It's not people shaking hands and agree that they're amniotes. Do we do arbitrary labels? No. This is a classification that is verified and determined whether they're amniotes. Within that, and skipping several more sections down, we've got tetrapods that have 4 limbs. We've got anthroposaurs, which have 5 digits on the ends of its extremities, and these are subsets of each other. Then we get into primates. Now we've got opposable thumbs and particular sets of teeth which match us. And then within that, you've got a group called simians or simiiforms. It is impossible to define. No, that's more than just apes. It's monkeys. Well, no, lemurs are strepsirrhines. I'm talking about haplorhines right now, the dry-nosed primates. So there's subcategories where it's impossible to describe the traits that are common to all monkeys without defining human beings, just as it's impossible to find the traits of all animals without defining human beings. Multicellular, epistocont, internal digestive system. It fits you. The definition for a monkey, which is much longer, fits you. The definition for ape is even longer, and it fits you. And some of the categories for the definition of ape, apart from these kind of ears and this kind of nose where the nostrils point down, it's these kind of teeth. You have the molars, and for example, if you find a molar such as we have in somewhere in Kenya, you won't know for sure whether you found a human tooth, but you'll know that it belongs to an ape. You won't know if it's a chimpanzee or a human, or maybe a gorilla, but you know it belongs to an ape because they all have the same thing, 5 points separated by a Y-shaped crevice. We know and can prove that humans are in fact apes exactly the same way that lions are cats, and iguanas are lizards, and sharks are fish, and ducks are birds. We are a subset of that category. Proof. And there's you don't have to have an opinion. We don't have to agree on
And that's just a very basic synopsis of taxonomy and the science of biology, basically.
classifying life forms.
Yeah, that's kind of my thought. Very, very basic. And there are scientists out there who will know much more than Aaron, much more than me.
Now the beauty is when you get past the morphological things, like 5 fingers, the type of fingernails that have the type of teeth we have, when you get past all that, when you get into the genetics, it doesn't stop. The categories, the classifications get even longer because we are full of dysfunctional primate genes. Our genome is full of genes that no longer work, but in monkeys, they do work.
So there is that connection there.
So why would a creator create us made of broken monkey genes? But that's what we're made of. And one of them, this is an important one of them involves the racialization of our jaw. Now in other apes, if this gene works, then you have this huge muscle mass attached to the jaw. And then it attaches to a sagittal crest at the top of the head. But in us, that muscle is diminished. The gene is dysfunctional, so we only get a bare amount, which allows for encephalization of the brain. And then that's coupled by a tumor suppressor gene that, again, in apes will prevent them from having brain cancer, but in us allows our brains to get huge, taking advantage of the space that's no longer occupied by the muscles attached to the sagittal crest. So two of the reasons that we have such huge brains is because our monkey genes got broken. A creator would not do that. So what you got is you got the reality that all of science can back up from every possible different field. And against that, you have a book of fairy tales about a talking snake and a magic spell that everywhere else in the Bible where it talks about eat of the fruit of the tree of, in every other instance, it's talking about a parable of this will be the result if you do that. Except in Genesis, there's the one place they got to take it literal, and it can't be literal. It was never a talking snake.
also a talking donkey.
Yeah, go figure that out. So the donkey tells Balaam, what? You don't see the invisible guy with the flaming sword in front of me? Who believes this? How could you govern your life believing a fable tale like that? Have you ever seen Francis the Talking Mule? I used to watch that when I was a little kid. I didn't think it was real. All right, I'm going to have to go. I've got some things to do. Good luck to you, sir. And I'm convinced that belief systems are a way of shutting down the mind and stopping them from bringing in new ideas. Break free of that and start challenging your assumptions. You will find a bigger, better world. Have a good day.